Hello, everybody. It's Coach Gary in Coronado on a beautiful day here in San Diego area. And thank you all for joining on our live YouTube broadcast, which we were going to be having on a frequent basis through the Olympic Games. And I also want to thank our producer, Coach Thomas Henson, who has put this show together today. We've got an exciting show for you today. And what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks is we're going to pick what we consider to be the most exciting races of the Olympic Games, including the marquee matchups as well as the closest races. The one we picked today is the women's 100-meter butterfly for several reasons. Number one is it is a tight race. We have the top 6 entries going into Tokyo within about 0.6 or 0.7 seconds of each other, and any one of those could be on the podium. And who's going to win this race? Well, I have my favorite. I'm going to let you know what that is in just a minute. But what we want to talk to you about today is in respect to technique, because one of the most fascinating things I find in the butterfly is the difference we see in the recovery motions. And then we basically have 3 different recoveries. The hand goes much higher than the elbow, so the hand is elevated as it comes around, and it comes way up and then it comes down. And then the final one is what we call the ascending trajectory, where the hand arm starts low, and as it comes forward it elevates and then comes down hard into the water. So the first question you're probably thinking is, why is there a difference? Why do people want to recover differently? Well, the lower the arm is, the less energy is required. Why would somebody want to use a lot of energy, like a vertical recovery or an ascending trajectory? Why does that matter? Well, we're going to show you a velocity meter shot here that will illustrate what happens when that arm comes down. When the head comes down, the shoulders come down, and the hands come down all at the same time, we see this incredible surge of speed. And it peaks, the velocity or the acceleration on the lower screen, you see peaks right as those hands hit the water. And that happens and coincides with the second down kick. So what we're trying to do by increasing the energy coming down from the arms and the head as it comes down, and the shoulders and the chest pressing down, is we're trying to increase the power of that second down kick. And you see a lot of differences in how much energy is put into that. But I can assure you that energy is not wasted. That is good energy. So we want to share now with some of the different races, and we'll show you how the different athletes have used different recovery motions. This first race here is the World Championships in 2019. You see Sarah Sjostrom, the world record holder in lane 4. She's out in 25.9, actually 3/10 slower than Tori Huske was in the Olympic trials. But over on this side of her, you see, with the yellow cap is Sarah. On this side of her with the white cap, you see Maggie MacNeil from Canada, Toronto. And she uses what's called an ascending trajectory. You notice how her hands come up as they go forward, whereas Sarah is more of a horizontal, slashing evenly with the water. And then over on the 2 lanes over from Sarah, you'll see Emma McCown, who placed 3rd in this, who uses a very vertical arm recovery. And if you focus on each of these 3 different athletes, see Emma in the yellow cap, how vertical she is. You also see another Australian in the lane closest to the camera, Louise Hansen, who won the NC2As from USC, with a very vertical recovery. Again, that gives them a little bit more help from gravity as they come down. You can see how Emma in lane 6 comes down really hard. And you see how Maggie in lane 5 really elevates her hands. All of them get those hands inside the shoulders. They're not recovering with those hands wide. They're getting them inside the shoulder. There's a great shot of Sarah, horizontal, coming forward. Maggie next to her really came home incredibly fast in 2019, had the fastest second 50 of any swimmer in history, coming back in 29.2. And you see how her arms, a great shot of her elevating those hands. First thing that hits the water, much like Phelps, and Caleb and Christoph Milov from Hungary, the triceps hit the water before the hands. And then over on this lane 6, you see Emma McCown coming in, very vertical. Hard to hold that vertical recovery for a whole 100, but she does a great job at that and places third. Now, to do a vertical recovery, first of all, not everybody can do that. And you have to have extraordinary flexibility. In a minute, we're going to show you a video of two of our race clubbers who came to see me. And they were sisters from Hawaii. One of has extreme shoulder flexibility, being able to extend her shoulders way back. And she goes very vertical in recovery, much like Emma does here. Luis over in the end lane. Rikaku Ake from Japan, another great butterflyer who also uses a very vertical recovery. On the men's side, the people that use that vertical are like Chase Kalish, Luca, what's his last name? Luca Orlando. He's a young swimmer from Sacramento. He goes to Georgia. Great butterflyer, very vertical recovery. And then also, you see a few others like Laszlo Shea from Hungary. He's a very vertical recovery. This is a girl from Hawaii, Sierra Fujiwara, who really has great flexibility. I love her vertical recovery as she comes down really aggressively into the water. But in order to do that, she's got a lot of flexibility. You can see her come way up. Those hands are way on top of the elbows as she comes down very aggressively with the hands and the arms, all within inside the shoulder. On her left is Jenna, her sister. Jenna doesn't have that kind of flexibility, so Jenna uses more of an ascending trajectory. And you see how vertical that Sierra gets with those hands well above the elbows. So more work, but more energy. Gravity really helps her as she comes down hard, and all of that is doing is making her second down kick much more powerful, getting a tremendous surge. We often see the peak velocity on that second kick of the butterflyers faster than their first down kick, which is when their hands are under their body. And this is Tori Huske, and she goes out in 25.6, blistering first 50. And she is what I call a very minimal vertical recovery. She doesn't really stay horizontal. She comes up and she gets the hands just a little bit above the elbows, but not tremendously. On this side of her, you have Claire Curzan, and Claire's, and on this side of the other, one more over is Kate Douglas. So both Claire and Kate use what I call the ascending trajectory. And you see Claire coming in. Tori just had an incredible race here at the trial, 55.66, American record, out in 25.9, back in, or 25.6 rather, back in 30 flat. Not as fast as Maggie coming home, so that'll be one of the interesting parts of that race is, will Tori go out fast? She was 3/10 faster than Sarah was in the Olympics in Rio. Will she be able to hang on? And is Maggie going to use the same strategy she did in 2019? But here you see Tori come in, 25.6, Claire right behind her, coming off the wall. Tori has tremendous kicks. So does Maggie, so does Sarah. They're all fast kickers, but Tori, of all these American girls, has the fastest kick. Here she's one up, one down. She holds the last couple of strokes into the wall. Notice Claire Curzan over here on this side of her holds 6 strokes into the wall, finishes 6 strokes without a breath. And frankly, that keeps her on the Olympic team. She doesn't do that, and Kate Douglas probably beats her on this side. But here's a great shot of Tori finishing. Hold stroke well. Even though she was blistering the first 50, she doesn't die. She holds her stroke. She comes back a little slower than she did in the semifinals. And we'll talk about her breathing pattern on another show, but her breathing pattern is one up and one down, just like most of the American girls. But that's not what Sarah does. That's not what Maggie does. So that's another day. We'll discuss that. There she goes in, 55.6. So great swims. Looking forward to a great match up there in Tokyo in this race.
Katie McLaughlin here in lane 2.
Over in lane 2, we have another vertical, and you can see her in the second lane over. Katie goes very vertical. She's a swimmer from California. The third lane over is Kelsey Worrell, Kelsey Dahlia now, but Kelsey is very horizontal in her recovery, whereas Katie in lane, the second swimmer from the other side, is very vertical. So you see all three different types of recovery in this race. And so this is really what we're looking at for the women's 100 fly. We have Yufei Zhang from China. She did 55.6 last September in 2020. You know, it's hard to tell with the Chinese. Will she show up? Is she going to swim that fast? You never know for sure. But she's posted a great time. Tori, 55.6. My prediction, she's going to go faster than 55.6. Almost always the Americans will improve between the trials and the Olympic Games. They bond, they get together, tremendous camaraderie. If that American team is swimming well, Tori Huske is going to go under 55.6. Then you've got my favorite to win this race. That's Maggie MacNeil. And one of the reasons she's my favorite, she was a race clubber. She came to the race club when she was 11, 12, and 13 in Florida, and we had a chance to work with her. Saw great potential then, and we really encouraged her on the ascending trajectory and also on her breathing pattern, which she has used to help win the World Championships in 2019, 55.8. She hasn't shown her cards yet, and I think Maggie is going to be ready and poised, and I think she's going to break a world record in the Olympics and win. Emma McCown had her lifetime best time at the trials just a month ago, got under 56, 55.9, could medal. It's not going to win, but Emma is always a tough competitor, very vertical recovery. And there's Sarah. Sarah's the world record holder. She won the Olympics. Never count her out. But here's the thing. She broke her elbow in March of this year. She was in a cast, and she had to kick for about a month. She could do very little swimming. Is she going to be ready? I mean, she's capable in the 50, the 100, 200 freestyle, the 100 fly. She could swim any of those events. But is she going to swim the 100 fly because of her elbow? We don't know. But all I can tell you is Sarah's one of the most competitive swimmers in the world. And if she shows up and swims, she's going to be amazing. Clara Curzan, she's on this upward trajectory. A little bit like David Popovici. You know, she's young. I think she's 16 or 17 years old. And she is just lighting it up every time she gets in the water. If she keeps improving, she could be under 56 and earn a medal. So I think it's going to be one of the most exciting races of the Olympic schedule. I look for Maggie to win. I'm going to predict Tori's going to get second. And third, I'm going to go with Sarah, although I'd like to see Claire, you know, have a better swim, and maybe she can dip under 56 and get a bronze medal, which would be really exciting for the United States. So now you have it. You see there's three different recoveries, and now you understand why. One is more difficult, the vertical, because of the flexibility, but it also gives you more energy coming down. The other one, if you don't have the flexibility, anybody can do the ascending trajectory. And last week when we looked at David Popovici, we saw him do that with his freestyle. And now you're seeing this with Maggie, you see it with Caleb Dressel, with Krzysztof Milov, you see it with a lot of the great swimmers using that ascending trajectory as they come up before they come down. So we're going to ask if all of you can help us out, because we love to do these and we hope you enjoy them. But we're going to ask you to join our membership and support the race club by joining our membership. It's a very low monthly fee to do that. But if you do that, you're going to have access to some exclusive race club videos. The first one we released is a series on butterfly breathing. That's a topic we're going to talk about soon with respect to the butterfly, because the breathing patterns need to be different in the 50 and in the 100 and the 200. My son Richard put together an awesome series on butterfly breathing, not just the differences, but the physiological reasons why you want to have different breathing patterns in the 50 and the 100 and the 200 fly. So you can support us by becoming a member for $4.99 a month, and you can get access to this exclusive content. We'll be releasing new videos to these members every month, several new videos, and I think you'll really enjoy them. It's very easy. You just go on the YouTube, you hit join, and in 2 clicks, you become a member. This is a great series, one of the best series we've ever put out. And in it, we discuss the physiology, and we show you different breathing patterns and why we recommend different breathing patterns for different races. And just an aside, just Sarah Showstrom breathes every cycle, And Maggie breathes 2 up, 1 down, and almost all the American women are 1 up, 1 down. And Maggie was one of the changes we made to her technique was to breathe 2 up, 1 down. And we think that's what enables her to get back in the fastest second 50. And how she swims that race will be very interesting. So let's take some questions. At this point, we're going to open it up to you guys and take some questions. Here's one from Tyler Newton.
Tyler just says hi.
Oh, Tyler says hi. Tim Delahunty, he's another race clubber. I'm going to take Tim's question. He's a master swimmer, a great butterflyer, by the way. What are the key touchstones when learning the ascending technique? We have a favorite drill that we use to teach that technique. It's called the left-right front. Now, I know a lot of coaches use that drill. They'll go 2 left, 2 right, 2 front, 3 left, 3 right, 3 left. We go 1, 1, 1. We like you to go 1, but when we go 1, we like you to go completely vertical, get on your side, and straight arm over the top, tucking the chin down, and then right arm straight up over the top, tucking your chin down, and then both arms together with a front breath, ascending the arm. So you kind of get into that vertical mode of lifting the arm up and bringing it down hard at the end. And we find that's a great drill to teach the ascending vertical technique. Craig, for sprint freestyle 50-meter race, should the pull be straight down or 45 degree? Yeah, when you're swimming a sprint freestyle, and we just released a video last week on the pulling motion for the 50 free, and there's so many people that talk about, you know, the high elbow pull in freestyle. But in a 50 sprint, you don't want to use a high elbow. The reason is you don't get as much propulsion, you don't get as much power when your elbow is really high. What you're doing there is you're reducing drag, and that's a better technique for a 200 and up. When you drop down to the 50, which is an all-out sprint, you want to go for power. You can't sustain the drag of a deep pull for very long. And you see anybody that tries that is going to get eaten alive. Even in 100 on the second 50, if they try to maintain that deep pull, they just can't finish strong. So it doesn't work for anything under 50, but you can either, what you usually see is a range from almost straight, and Brad Tandy is almost straight through, Roland Skuman, another South African, was almost straight through, Anthony Irvin, almost straight through on the pull, almost straight arm, up to a bend that's more like 160 degrees. So that would be 20 degrees from straight, 20 degree, maybe a 30 degree bend in the elbow. Who did that? Well, Gary Jr. We see Caleb using that bend, slight bend. We see Nathan Adrian, people like that use that bend. And it seems to work better for some. There's a sweet spot about that bend. You have to find the right amount of bend for you. So play around with it. In the video release, we showed you a drill that will teach you how to find the best spot. Richard asked me to tell a story about Maggie at the race club. She came to Florida. Her parents are lovely people. Mom's a physician up in Toronto. A beautiful family. She's adopted. She was born in China, and just a brilliant girl. And when she was young, I said, Maggie, you're going to become a great butterfly. I mean, that was her best stroke then. It's still her best stroke. She went 21 flat in the 50-yard freestyle, so she's an amazing freestyler as well. Tremendous speed, great kick. But what took Maggie a while to evolve was her kicking speed, and it takes a long time to develop that. Maggie was always a good butterflyer. She became a great butterflyer when she went to University of Michigan under Coach Bottom and really developed her kick. And also her breathing pattern changed at that point. She went to 2 up, 1 down. And if you see, this is really what enables her to finish this race so strong. I mean, she just comes blistering back in 29.2. I love the strategy for her to do this, to hang back a little bit in the first 50, come off the wall with a vengeance on her underwater kick, and just blister. In the last 10 meters, she is just charging into the wall. 55.8 here. This was 2 years ago. She's faster today than she was then. That's why I think Maggie's going to break the world record. A lovely girl, very bright, very charming, very friendly. And we're pulling for her, even though she's not American. I wish she were, but I think Maggie's going to win this race. She had an amazing 100 fly in the short course. She went 48.8, and first woman to break 49 seconds in 100 fly. And her second 25, she didn't wait around or the second 50 on that race. She was swimming right next to Kate Douglas, and they touched the wall. Both have great starts. Maggie uses more of a Brad Tandy type of start also, which we helped teach her. But they hit the first turn in the 100-yard, and she just blistered off that wall. So her second 25 in the 100-yard is where she really made the difference on Kate and won the race. But I think she's going to lay back a little bit. I think she's going to swim it like she did in 2019, and watch for her maybe to go under 29 on the second 50. What a great second 50 that would be. And if she does that, she wins. So anyway, I think, Thomas, are we out of time? We have any more time for any other questions?
I think that's about it. We can wrap things up.
All right, well, we'll wrap up today. Thank you again for joining us live on YouTube, and I hope it was an interesting topic for you. A lot of people don't pay attention to recovery techniques in butterfly, but it is very important, and you kind of have to pick the right technique for you. They all work, obviously, because you see all three in the finals of the World Championships and the Olympics and the Olympic trials, but you have to kind of pick the one that's best for you. And that's why this is not a one-size-fits-all sport. So join our membership. It's $4.99 a month. You'll get access to some amazing videos that we produce for you on swimming techniques, some great content exclusive to our YouTube membership. And we look forward to seeing you in the next show. We're not sure exactly when that will be. We're going to do these much more often during the Olympics. And we'll pick another race and we'll analyze it and share it with you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.